Very
Alhamdulillah, fine, fine.
great.
Good. Mr. Swane? Mr. Swane? Hello?
You are live now. You are live now.
Hello, Boendebe Moikaneno.
All
Good.
right. You guys are good to go live.
Okay. Good evening and
Lamin,
then
welcome.
welcome. Good. Yes, good evening and welcome to New Global Media. This is your sports that comes your way every Thursday from the hours of 5 o'clock to 5:30 with your able sport presenter Usman Bi and then our able technician Mr. Swane, who is in United States of America. Today, our guest in our program is my boss, sport journalist Parlamin Fati, and also a football commentator. Mr. Fati, welcome to New Global Media.
Usman, thank you very much. I just have to start by sending my sincere appreciation to the entire management and staff of New Global Media for giving me the opportunity for the very first time to appear in front of the screens of New Global Media. So I believe it's going to be an enticing hour or more of interactive sports discussion, most especially football. So I am definitely very much honored to be here this afternoon.
Thank you so very much. We are very much appreciated also to get you on our sport platform for the very first time. Mr. Fati, before we go forward, I want you to describe yourself. Who is Parliament Fati?
Sometimes it is mostly challenging if I want to talk about myself, but basically, Parliament Fati is a young Gambian who is from Nyofele Kombo South West Coast region, the Gambia. You know, I started my schooling at Nyofele Primary School before moving to Brikama Upper Basic School, then to Muslim Senior Secondary School, where I completed my senior secondary school education. And upon completing the senior secondary school education, I attended the Gambia College, also attended the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication, Majat, where I acquired my certificate in journalism and currently serving as the country director for LSTV1 and also the match commentator for LSTV1 Online.
Good. Wonderful. We are very much happy for that. Good. Now let's go straight to the program. As I told you, we want to discuss about the Gambia football. Recently, we have seen the national team, the under 17, under 20. They all took part in the qualifiers where we can say the outcome is not that much good for the entire nation because the seniors team could not get us the result that we wanted. Under 17 went for the qualified tournament where they failed to qualify it. And then the under 20 also recently they played a home game for the first time in some years without playing home football. But we don't get the good result that we needed. With your own experience in the Gambian football, how do you see our performance in the qualifiers, Parliament Fati?
Yeah, Osman, I think the qualifiers has been an interesting one for the Gambia, if our memories could serve as well. The Gambia participated in the AFCON twice, and I believe the first time of qualification was in 2021 when the Gambia celebrated that massively for the first time playing in the AFCON, and which was in 2021 in Cameroon. And then that was, of course, our best appearance in the AFCON because during the group stages, we played the likes of Mauritania, Tunisia, Mali, famously, we started that campaign when we qualified. Of course, that was massively celebrated back home here. We played Mauritania, defeated them 1-0 in the first game, drew against Mali, defeated Tunisia, went to the round of 16. We got the better of Guinea, famously, you could remember. We defeated Guinea and then went to the quarterfinal where we lost to the host, that was Cameroon. And then after that, of course, we believe, this should be a continuous thing for the Gambia. We went for another qualifiers. We also qualified. You could remember that was the last edition of the AFCON, which was in Ivory Coast, but that was definitely not a great success for the Gambia, where we got putted out of the group stages. So that wasn't a good one. But looking at the Gambia, at senior level, I think in the recent past we've been doing a little bit better, but also we have a lot of things that is trying to hinder our progress as far as football and football development is concerned. And then looking at the under 17 and under 20, we've been doing well. Under 17, you could remember we played the under 17 at AFCON level four times, where in 2005 and 2009 we won the AFCON. That was the under 17, and then we went to the World Cup twice, where we crashed out in the group stages in 2005 and 2009. So we can say in the under 17 category, we also started doing very well, but also we encountered a lot of challenges as far as football development is concerned. Coming down to the under 20, we all know, we played the Cup of Nations in the under 24 times, and then at some point our best results was we were runners up in 2023 in the under 20, and then we also played the WAFU Zone A under 20 4 times, and then our results were we were champions in 2018 and also in 2020. So the FIFA World Cup, we also appeared in 2007, and then we crashed out in the round of 16 in 2007 and 2023. And then looking at these statistics, I think Gambia has been doing pretty well in terms of senior competition, under 17 competition, and then under 20 competition in the male category. Though in the female category, I think the Gambia is starting to gel into female football, not that much, but we are also trying to have a firm footing as far as female football is concerned. But currently, with the development of our senior national team and also the under 20 and under 17, I think we are progressing, but also hindered by some challenging moments as far as the development of football or sports, most especially football, is concerned in the Gambia.
Yeah, if you said we are hindering with some challenges, what are some of those challenges that is hindering the national team?
Yeah, Osman, I think football can't go without proper planning, proper structuring, and also the availability of structures and also infrastructure. Because if you want to develop football, you must have the grounds where you play football. We all know over the last, I think the Gambia is playing at the Independence Stadium. This was sometime in August 2021, if my memory could serve me well. Not very sure of the month, but this was sometime in 2021. We stopped playing at the Independence Stadium. Just of recent, we started playing, and this was even on temporal basis. So I think our football can progress if we don't have the infrastructure. Looking at where most of our divisional matches are played, these pitches we can say are better pitches. Maybe the Gold Project, the Soma Mini Stadium, the Box Bar Mini Stadium are at least better. But looking at the Bakau Mini Stadium and some grounds that are hosting our fourth division matches, where we get our players to represent us at under 20, under 17, and also at senior category. I think those are terrible pitches where we play football. And then we cannot get our football developed if we don't have those infrastructures, very good infrastructures to help us develop our football. So those were some of the challenges that the Gambia is facing as far as football development and also football advancement in the country is concerned.
Yeah, when you talk about the infrastructural development, I think you are right. You are very right on that. But when you look at the senior national team, also we had some changes. The new governor has come in, but yet still we are not getting the result that we needed. Do you think that also has an impact in our progress?
Yeah, you talked to many of the people when Tom Samfed was here. Tom qualified us on 2 occasions. I think Tom was seriously criticized by his style of play, of course, because during his time he had this very combative style of play and also that defensive mentality of play. Though he was able to qualify the country on 2 occasions to the AFCON, but still, he was seriously criticized by a lot of people. So I think those were some of the reasons why Tom eventually left the country, and then we had Jonathan McKinstry. And when McKinstry came, We believe McKinstry was going to give us our third AFCON appearance, but unfortunately, we failed to qualify in both the AFCON and also the World Cup. So I think the change of management or the change of the coaching role might also have an impact. But you talk to many of the Gambians, they will still tell you, I think if McKinstry is given the time, he should be able to deliver that for the country. Because you talk to many, they will still tell you, when Tom came, he also struggled. He was given ample time to settle down, and then they believe if McKinstry is also given that time, he will also be able to deliver an AFCON spot and also possibly a World Cup spot for the Gambia. And then that's going to be the biggest celebration for the Gambia because we've never appeared in the World Cup. I think we only appeared in the AFCON twice. The first one was a success. Of course, we went as far as the quarterfinals, lost to the host Cameroon. The second one was, wasn't a great one. We got booted out of the competition at the group stages. That was in Ivory Coast. So I believe with Jonathan McKinstry, if he is also given the time and opportunity, he should also be able to deliver an AFCON appearance for the Gambia and also a possible World Cup appearance for the first time.
Okay, now let's talk about playing our home games in the Gambia, because there was a time like what you mentioned when we last played our home games in the Gambia. It was around 2021. Here, temporarily open of the Independence Stadium for the Gambia to host matches, and then we have seen under 20 playing. Everybody was crying for the Gambia to play their home games in the Gambia. But when you look at our last game, when the under 20 played against Algeria. The Independence Stadium, people were expecting that people will go and then fill the Independence Stadium up to its capacity. But it was a disappointing moment when you look at around and you don't see many people there. They don't go there to watch the game. What do you think is the problem?
Osman, I think there must be a lot of contributing factors to the low turnout because I think a lot of Gambians were anticipating to see the Gambia come back to the Independence Stadium to start playing their home matches. I think the best of times that the Gambia should be given the opportunity to play their home games was when we were playing the AFCON qualifiers and also the World Cup qualifiers. But unfortunately, we were denied by Confederation of African Football, and based on the facts they have put forward was like the stadium was not in a good condition to host those international matches. And I believe those moments should have been the best of moments for the Gambia to come back. And then if the Gambia was given the opportunity, we were going to see a massive turnout at the Independence Stadium. But unfortunately, we were never given the opportunity. And then we were given the temporal approval. I hate this temporal approval because I believe there must be a time they might come back and say, we are not even satisfied with the Independence Stadium, so we're going to stop you from playing your home matches again. So already we are already given a temporal approval to play our home matches. That is, we played against Algeria, that is the Chan team, and then also the female under 20 is going to play there tomorrow against Ivory Coast in the World Cup qualifiers. Osman, looking at the turnout at the Independence Stadium in the last game, that was last weekend, I was totally disappointed myself because when I was going to the Independence Stadium, the information I gathered was like the tickets were sold out. So, I also received calls from people who were requesting, telling me we are still struggling to get tickets. So to me, I thought the tickets were even finished. So when I went to the Independence Stadium and then I saw the Independence Stadium, barely, somebody might say totally empty because the number that we all expected, we never saw such a turnout. So we believe that was definitely a very disappointing moment. Some people, you talk to them, they will attribute it to, of course, yes, this is not the senior national team, this is a Chan team, these are the same players that we mingle with every day, we keep seeing every day. And they believe most of the times when people have the zeal and have the ambition to go to the Independence Stadium is when we have the senior national team. These are the players that are playing internationally, and then people struggle to see them. So, seeing them for the first time or in a few times, that will definitely compel a lot of people to come to the Independence Stadium. So, to many, they believe it's a Chan team. Of course, the organizing committee should have even, have a very minimal charges to make sure a lot of people are attracted to the Independence Stadium. But you talk to many people, they will tell you this is based on interest as well. People are really interested to see the same players, because these are the same players that they've been mingling with, that they've been seeing on daily basis. So this might, it might have a lot of contributing factors which I might not be able to ascertain. But I believe the organizers, that is the events management committee, should be able to digest that, and they should be able to work on some of those things in the subsequent matches to be staged at the Independence Stadium. And then thank God, we are playing there on Friday. That is tomorrow, the female team, that is the under 20. And then the information that we gathered is the tickets are going to be free for everybody to be given the opportunity. So it's also going to be another test whether people will still come and watch the game. But you talk to people, they will tell you, most of the Gambians don't even have that interest in female football. So, but we all want to be there tomorrow and cheer up our girls to make sure they are able to secure, that much needed qualification to the World Cup, which is going to be for the very, very first time seeing our female team getting to the World Cup. So, but I think it's going to be a very good start if we have a massive turnout at the Independence Stadium, because the ticket is totally free. So, but with regards to the Chan team, the last game we saw at the Independence Stadium, it was definitely embarrassing to see such a crowd at the Independence Stadium, at a place where many of the people were yearning to go back. But, you talk to many, they will tell you this is not the senior national team, it's the Chan team.
Yeah, you have watched that game at the Independence Stadium between the Gambia and Algeria, which ended in a goalless draw. Do you think the Gambia have a chance to progress against Algeria in the return leg?
Osman, it is definitely not encouraging coming from the Gambia, because the information that we are even gathering now is not even is not impressive, because I think the team, with the latest reports, the team is yet to settle in Algeria. I think they had this delay somewhere around Mauritania, if my memory could serve me well. Yeah,
Exactly.
something like that. So the team is stranded somewhere, and then they are still struggling to have their way in Algeria. So I think that is definitely going to have an impact, possibly on the performance of the team. But we just hope and pray that the team gets to Algeria, have a very good game. And right from the beginning, you look at that team, because I watch the team a lot on training. I visited them on many occasions on their training. Since at the beginning, I had a lot of question marks over the striking department, because I believe defensively at the goalkeeping department, in the midfield, there is stability around those areas. But looking at the offensive tag, that is the final tag, I think this is a place that the coach definitely need to strengthen, because I believe the coach had the chance to strengthen that department, but unfortunately he didn't. He relied on the same strikers, and I believe we played 3 matches and then without getting a goal, and this is definitely embarrassing. Playing 3 matches without scoring a goal, and I could remember the test match they played in the Gambia, played against Gambia Ports Authority. They lost to Ports Authority by 2 goals to 1, and I watched that game. Ports Authority scored the entire goal, because Ports Authority won 2-1. They scored the 2 goals and also conceded, had an own goal. So meaning they scored all the goals. So meaning right
Yeah.
from the test matches going down to the competition proper, this team never scored a goal. So I think that is definitely embarrassing, and I believe the coach will be able to work on that, and we just hope and pray that they are able to do that and at least secure a victory and also secure a spot in the tournament itself. But there are a lot of question marks with the possibility of the Gambia securing a victory in Algeria, judging by the performance they had in the Gambia. Because in the Gambia here, Algerians were very much composed, very much calm, and then they weren't even trying to force themselves, have that pressure on themselves. I think they were trying to play here not to concede in the Gambia, and then possibly have the chance to get the maximum points, but when they get to Algeria. So it's going to be a lively game between the Gambia and Algeria. Let's just hope and pray that the Gambia is able to secure a victory and then at least secure a position in the Chan proper.
Thank you for giving us those statistics. And now we will not make any justice if we don't talk about the female under 20 that will be playing tomorrow against Africa Coast in the World Cup qualifiers. You are someone who is always followed this local football, more especially both male and female. Do you think the Gambia female under 20 team, the coach has already unveiled his her squad? Do you think those players are capable enough to get the maximum results against Ivory Coast tomorrow?
Yeah, Osman, this is a very young team. The team is a
Mhm,
very young team because when you talk about local football in the Gambia, I've been watching a lot of matches, but unfortunately, I'm not a very keen follower of female football. I think the teams that I follow that much is the Fortune football team and also
mhm,
the Berewulem football team. And then looking at the team squad that I saw, I think we
mhm,
had up to 6 players taken from Berewulem Football Club, and then we also have a player Jojo Bojang from Fortune Football Club, and a blend
mhm,
of other players from different clubs in the first and second division. So we can say the coach is able to assemble the best of players in the first and second division based on his selection, and then we are just hopeful that he is able to assemble a very good squad because unfortunately I've never watched this team train and I've never watched the team play collectively as a team as far as the under 20 is concerned. So, but I believe the
mhm,
coach has assembled a team that should be able to get a result against any team. But they are also playing against one of the powerhouses, and I'm not too sure with regards to female football. But when you look at African football, Ivory Coast is one of the biggest or the powerhouses of African football. So we believe they're also going to have a very good team. I was even trying to have a glimpse of their team. So, I was able to have their team list as well. But, I've never watched their female tournament or their female competition back in Ivory Coast. So we believe the Gambia should have a team that should be able to get a victory against any other team. But I believe it's going to be a very huge mountain to climb for the Gambia against Ivory Coast, judging Ivory Coast by their performance in Africa.
Okay. Now we have only 10 minutes to go, or maybe 9 minutes to go. Now let's talk about the GFF first division and second division. Currently, in the first division, if what I'm having here is correct, I think Real de Banjul is leading the table with 44 points, followed by Fortune 37 and Brikama 36, if that is the correct table that I'm having here. How do you see the FF First
Exactly.
Division?
Yeah, it is interesting as usual. Every year you get to the GFF Men's Division One, it has been a very interesting one, and then this year's also is not an exception. And then currently Real de Banjul leading the charges as you rightly mentioned with 44 points. Fortune playing a lesser number of games because Real is playing their 23rd game today, whilst Fortune
Mhm,
has already played 21. So meaning Fortune will be having two games in hand
mhm,
after Real's game today. Real is currently playing against VST Galaxy, and the latest update that we are currently receiving is currently 1-1 between Real de
mhm.
Banjul and VST Galaxy. And then I believe that is going to be a result that Fortune will definitely love because they will definitely want to
Exactly.
come back, get maximum points, and then try to close the gap on champions Real de Banjul. But Real de Banjul, we've been all saying every year they tend to be the title favorites, year in, year
Mhm,
out. They won it the last two editions, in the last two consecutive seasons. So looking forward to win it for the third consecutive time this season. But I believe currently the teams that are closer to them is Fortune currently. We've seen Hearts FC pushing a lot of threat on the Champions League, but currently they've also slipped because they've now moved down to
mhm.
fourth, fifth, and currently they are trailing against TMT at the Soma Mini Stadium as I am speaking to you. So the teams that are closer to Fortune, to Real de Banjul is Fortune, and if Fortune is able to win all those two games, they will definitely close the gap on the champions Real de Banjul. Brikama United. At some point, not very much consistent. They will be coming up and going down. Hawks is also very close currently on the same point with Brikama United. They can also be possible title contenders. alongside Heart FC, Falcons FC. So I believe somebody might tell you, of course, this might be a 3 or 4 horse race between champions Real de Banjul, Fortune Brikama, and the Hawks, and then Heart FC. If any of the teams is able to close the gap on the champions and possibly pose a lot of threat on Real de Banjul, might possibly have the chance of winning the league. But on
Mhm.
paper, many will tell you Real de Banjul is going to defend it for the third time. Let's just wait and see whether we're going to still see the same thing happening, as Real de Banjul will be walking away with the title again, which is too young to say, because currently we have a lot of games to play. So it wouldn't be safe to say Real de Banjul is going to go away with the trophy this year, once this year again. But looking at the bottom of the table,
Mhm.
Greater Tomorrow, Banjul United, and Marimo. These are teams
Mhm.
that have been struggling right from the beginning this season,
Yeah.
and then they need to buckle up, because it wouldn't tell well to see such teams or bigger teams struggling at the end of the day, finding themselves back to the second division. We all know how challenging the second division is. Currently, we're
Mhm.
having teams that we are playing in the fourth division, currently languishing at the bottom of the second division. The teams like Wabanjul is definitely struggling. They are just
Mhm.
around the bottom of the table. Walidan
Exactly.
not doing pretty well. Of course, Sports Authority doing well. Currently leading the chart in the second division. So I believe teams that are currently on the foot of the table will definitely work so hard to make sure they get themselves around the area before getting themselves back to the second division.
Exactly. In the second division, which team do you think will definitely go to the first division at the end of the day? Because I'm seeing GPA and Medina United and Samga are definitely fighting for promotions.
Yeah, the second division is also interesting. Sometimes I talk to people, I tell them it is one of the most interesting leagues in the Gambia. But
Mhm.
currently, Gambia Ports Authority, with their experience, many will believe, myself and many other people might believe, that Gambia Ports Authority will this year return to the
Mhm.
GFF Men's Division 1 or top flight. And then
Mhm.
the teams that are doing pretty well alongside Ports Authorities, Medina United and Samga. Of recent,
Mhm.
we've been seeing Kohli Stars are doing pretty well, but lost their last game, which
Mhm.
doesn't tell well of them. But I think the league is also very young. I think we are just 4 or 5 games into the second round, so teams
Mhm.
around the mid of the table can also buckle up and then try to see if they can get themselves around the top area of the league. But the teams that are currently fighting for promotion currently is Gambia Ports Authority, Medina United, and Samga. So possibly these three teams, we can confidently say two among the three will solely get promotion back to the GFF Men's Division 1. Medina United never had the chance, but you could remember they won the FF Cup last season, defeating the bigger guns in the top flight. So currently they wouldn't surrender. They might say we were able to do that against the bigger guns, so we can go all the way out to make sure we secure promotion. At some point, Gambia Ports Authority were in the first division at one time, and then
Mhm.
Samga as well. So with their experience, I believe they should also be able to sail back to the fourth division alongside Medina United. And also the most hardworking teams around the mid of the table might also have the chance to get secure promotion to the fourth division.
Third division is also getting very, very interesting. With Sibano United, right now, one can say that they are in a right direction, but they still also have a lot of challenges, because I know other teams are definitely trying to get closer to them. How important is that division of West Coast right now?
Yeah, third division, not only in West Coast, third division in all the regions. I think third
Yeah.
divisions are feeder to they are feeder to a second division.
Exactly.
You talk to many of the teams, they will tell you it is very challenging to get a spot in the second division based on the number of
Mhm.
games that you play. Looking at the West Coast region, they have this format wherein the two teams in each group will advance to the semi-final, play the final, then
Mhm.
also get to the triangular. Where you get to other zones, they will have 6 teams, 3-3 qualification. They play the quarterfinal, then before playing the final. So they encounter a lot of games before getting promotion to the second division. This is why teams that are able to book a place in the second division will never want to come back to the third division, because it is very
Exactly.
much challenging. And then looking at the distances where third division matches are played, it's mostly
Mhm.
very far. Looking at teams within the Combo, like in the West Coast region, in the around Combo South, traveling all the way to Fonyi, or teams in the Fonyi traveling all the way to Combo South. Maybe people might still tell you, of course, teams in the second and fourth division are also traveling as far as Jarasoma. But resource-wise, teams in the third division and
Mhm.
second division are definitely not the same. So most of the teams in the third division are either financed by communities or individuals, just like any other team. But I think it is definitely challenging in the third division. So the format, some people might tell you, I think there should be that change in the format, but also the opportunity of having more teams in the first and second division will also give the opportunity for more teams to have the chance of playing in the second and possibly fourth division. Third division is definitely challenging, Usman.
Exactly. Finally, I'll just take you away from the Gambia. Barcelona is out, Arsenal is out, Paris and Inter Milan into the Champions League final. Today, Manchester United also will play in the semi-final in the Europa League. Can you tell us what happened to Barcelona and Arsenal?
Osman, personally, most of the times I disturb people, but I can confidently tell you I don't even have a specific team in Europe. I used to be an Arsenal fan, but that was sometime around 10 or 15 years back. So like
Mhm.
the interest in European football is definitely not in me now, and I can tell you I can't remember when last I watched an entire game in the European Champions League. I can't remember.
Okay.
Looking at for Arsenal, the only good thing that they did this season was to get rid of Real Madrid. I
Yes,
have a lot
exactly.
of Real Madrid friends, and then most of the times I will start pulling their leg. So the best thing they did this season was to defeat Real Madrid. When Real Madrid,
Mhm.
was voted out of the competition by Arsenal, many thought it's going to be Arsenal season. But if you follow Arsenal's track record, they will tell you they can also lose against any other team, despite defeating Real Madrid. And this was exactly what happened to them. In the first leg against Paris Saint-Germain, they lost 1-0. Many thought it was going to be a remontada, that is going to be a comeback. But
Mhm.
I never had the belief that Arsenal was going to do that. And then guess what? What happened yesterday? They lost woefully to Paris
Paris.
Saint-Germain. And then Barcelona, on the other hand, I think Barcelona got it all wrong when they considered that goal at the final moments of the entire minutes against Inter Milan. Barcelona,
Mhm.
I think they were just perfect on that day. In the
Yeah.
first game, they did pretty well. In the second game, I think that game was just top notch. I spoke to many people. I told them, I think this game should only be the final of the UEFA Champions League, Barcelona against Inter Milan.
Exactly.
I think that was that game. I really enjoyed that game. I
Mhm.
was definitely going in for Barcelona on that very day, but unfortunately, they never had the chance to advance, got beaten. But I think the turning point was when Inter Milan scored in the last minute, and then forcing that game to extra time. And then at that point, I think Barcelona at some point were exhausted. So Inter Milan
Mhm.
capitalized in the extra time, and then secured that massive victory over Barcelona, booking a place in the final. I think this is the second in the last 3 years booking a final where
Mhm.
they got to the final when they had the likes of Andre Onana and few of their current players. So I think they are deserved winners, Inter Milan and Paris Saint Germain. This is definitely a signal that football sometimes is not about the players that they are big name players. Like looking at Paris Saint Germain, they had the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Neymar and co. And they had all those players. They never had the chance to play the final. So this time around, with
Mhm.
those youngsters and then hardworking and determined players, they are currently in the final. So I believe it's going to be a
Mhm.
great final. You talk to many of the fans, they will tell you Inter Milan or Paris Saint-Germain. So now the Real Madrid
Paris.
supporters, the Barcelona supporters, and some other supporters will be scattered among Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain. So let's
Paris.
just wait and see how this final is going to pan out.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I am very much excited to have you. You have answered all the questions, and then it's perfect. Thank you. Unless if you have anything to say before we say bye bye.
Osman, I think a very good commendation once again to the entire team, New Global Media. This is what we expect, and of course, we are all together in this, and then I think giving us the platform, not only me and other people to talk about
Mhm.
Gambian football, most especially football. I think that is definitely commendable, and we believe we are in this together, and then we can through that we will be able to get Gambian football or sports to another level. My outlet, your outlet, and somebody's outlet coming together will definitely change a lot of things as far as Gambian football is concerned. So equally, I am very much honored and then
Mhm.
honored to be here this evening to talk about sports, most especially football. So on that note, I wouldn't want to
Mhm.
prolong this occasion, just to say bye-bye and special thanks to all those monitoring this program live on New Global Media. So once again, to your entire team, yourself, and then everybody connected to this media, I am saying once again, Al Nimbara ala baraka bage.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Osman. It's a pleasure. Thank you.